This is RadicalSoda's Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Review, Part 5. If you haven't seen the other parts, the playlist is right there. Maybe don't start with Part 5 next time.
Code Radical replaced Schmingdingles into the party. We've all seen a shiny Floatzel at this point, right? And we already have a water type with Violet Demon, so I felt this is the best option. Code Radical's also a psychic type anyway, so it evens out the team a little bit more. Although we're still super weak to the bug gym at this point. Man, look how tiny Fungus is. I always thought it was at least... Heading on further up the nearby mountain, we run into that weird-ass bug thing from before, Nimble. To be honest, not really feeling this one. As I said before, I don't really dislike or hate any Pokemon designs inherently, but Nimble's one of those ones where I look at it and feel nothing inside. I didn't even bother catching it. But just because it doesn't fit my personal buggy tastes, and Wurmple is one of my favorite Pokemon, it doesn't mean it hasn't found success outside of... me, a one-person audience. I hear there's plenty who love this evolution line. It seems for at least the first few couple of trips to the Pokemon Center, you'll be given a little pop-up tutorial on certain features, like, for example, the trainer card. How about that? It just popped up. What a coincidence. I mentioned how you can take photos you can use as your trainer card background, so I open up the Pokédex. For some reason, the trainer card is in here, and take a new photo. Just demount me then! Something I realized pretty late into my journey here, look at me, haven't even done the first gym yet and I'm calling it late, was the day-night cycle. You might be thinking, well duh, of course there's a day-night cycle. There's been a day-night cycle since Gen 4. Well, technically Gen 2, but then they got rid of it in Gen 3 and brought it back for Gen 4. Bring back seasons, you cowards! But in this game, and maybe Sword and Shield, I'll be honest, I can't remember and there's no way I'm booting that monstrosity up again, the day-night cycle is its own thing, which isn't impacted by the actual time in real life. I thought maybe at first this could be because of the multiplayer functionality, but you join another person's world anyway, so that shouldn't really matter. My only guess is that they thought a faster day-night cycle was more convenient for the player, as some people can't play at certain times and hence wouldn't be able to catch or evolve certain Pokemon that either show up or evolve at certain times of the day. Also helps my video look a little better as I basically only recorded Scarlet in real time at night, and I'll tell you, daytime looks bad, yeah, but nighttime is just daytime with a blue filter slapped on it. It only gets worse. Arvin gives us a call once we get near the top of the mountain. Apparently I stumbled a little too far upwards and have made my way near the Open Sky Titan's lair. Apparently there's boulders raining down from the mountain, so your guess is as good as mine as to what the Titan could be. Maybe some sort of rock Pokemon like Aerodactyl? I don't think he's allowed to learn Rock Slide though. No, hey, look, a new Pokemon! I feel like that joke would have worked a lot better, you know, running into a Pokemon only for it to immediately kill itself if the game didn't take 10 years per move. Great Bazinga! Spidops? I mean, I get it. I understand the inspiration here. I don't really like it. Sort of a weak design, if you ask me. I picked up Tarantula because of the whole ball of yarn thing it had going on, and yet Spidops has a spindle of thread or whatever, but I don't know, man. Not for me, I think. It does learn a new move, though. It's Protect, but if the opposing Pokemon makes contact, it lowers their speed, like the speed status version of Spiky Shield or Baneful Bunker. I was kind of hoping Bazinga would evolve again into something else, but one quick Google search and, well, let's just say he didn't stay on the team for too much longer. Not that that's a terrible thing. It gave me more opportunities to use other new Pokemon, but I think everybody was a little disappointed with Spidops. It doesn't help that its stats are really, really bad. Have I mentioned just how long it takes for your Pokemon to appear on the screen in the summary menu? Sword and Shield had this issue too. It should have really been fixed by now. Look at what I'm saying. Fix, Game Freak, Pipe Dream. All words associated with each other. Do I need to say something about this? Does anybody need clarification as to what is happening here? I swear, there's gonna be people down in the comments section down below. This always happens. They'll be saying, wow, in my playthrough, I didn't run into any glitches at all, and my frame rate was fine. You must be really unlucky. I want you to go down there and mess with them. Go find those people and reply to them that you've got to go to the bathroom real bad. Feel free to mix it up. Why do you gotta go to the bathroom real bad? Whose bathroom is it? What is a bathroom exactly? Anyway, good to know that the windmill frame rate shenanigans in the trailers made it to the final version. It feels good to get the product we're promised, not like Ubisoft, am I right, fellas? Actually, you know what? I don't even buy Ubisoft games. I did buy Cyberpunk, though. I'm still mad about it. I suppose we could say not like CD Projekt Red, am I right, fellas? Even then, it wasn't the developer's fault. It was a management issue. Can we just, like, nick all CEOs? Jesus Christ, who thought this was a good idea? I contemplated turning around and heading back towards the Psychic-type gym. I got way off track. But instead, I forged ahead into the Sky Titan's lair. It was a rough trick up there. Boulders trying to fake me out with them blipping in and out of existence. But we made it to the top, and hey, look at that. If it isn't Suicide McGee, holy crap, this thing's big! Now, while it was a little disappointing to find out that the Titans, or at least this one, weren't special forms or anything like that, rather just big versions of regular Pokemon, probably the easiest way to program in these things, it was neat to finally have proper boss Pokemon in the game. We had Ultra Necrozma and the Totems, but... Wait, no, those are just as good as these. What am I saying? If anything, Titan Pokemon here are just even bigger Totem Pokemon. Wait, Dynamax Dens. Okay, so all this has kind of been done before. Either way, Bombardier, the new dark flying Pokemon, I really like. I know, man shoves aside an Ogre Spider and Robo Grasshopper, but welcomes the Stork with a skin flap with open arms. I get that it's a weird taste, but that's why it's RadicalSoda's Pokemon evaluation and not that one guy in the comments Pokemon evaluation. I don't know what it is about Bombardier. It could be the really nice white body with the black accents on the feathers, and then it's rounded out with the red beak and legs. Maybe it's a kinship I feel with it due to us both being birds. Either way, I'm not a furry. Either way, I know it's kind of bland and maybe even creeps you out a little bit with the flapper and all, but I think it's neat. Oh God, that's not much voice. I think it's neat. Anyway, back to the Sky Titan.
For the love of God, switch me out. God damn it, you son of a bitch.
Don't worry, everybody. Code Radical's never let me down. Because I've never sent it out. I spent Code Radical and Screamy Dog's turns baby doll-eyeing Bombardier until it was much, much less of a threat. Instead of one-shotting my Pokemon, now he was just three-shotting them. Unfortunately, most of my team wasn't exactly great against this thing. Microsoft Sam, Grass into Flying, Flittle, Psychic type into Dark, Cretabazinga, Bug into Flying, Bear Grylls, Grass into Flying. Didn't look all too good, I'm gonna be honest. But heck, after whittling it down with move after move, oh yeah, Worm against a Bird, that's gonna go well. But with Bear Grylls as our very last Pokemon, we finally managed to squeak out a win. Where's he going? The Bombardier starts eating a Rosemaria Magica, and Arven joins the fray. Oh boy, this cutscene's a total mess. First, Bombardier flies over to the cliff face, stares at it for like a solid 2 seconds without the animation changing. I guess he's ramming his beak into it. Then the camera shifts, and all of a sudden, all at once, Bombardier's animation resets, I disappear, even though my shadow's still clearly there on the ground, and even the fog blips into existence to top things off. That's not all though. Camera cuts to me, well, once I teleport back in, I cover my face even though the rocks disappeared a long ass time ago and there's clearly no dust or debris being kicked up. Camera just kind of lingers too, as to the playtime, I guess. Then I'm back into the Bombardier shot only to be whisked away again. Bombardier clips into another animation, and forgive me if I'm wrong here, but is he like 6 feet off the ground here? Look at that shadow! That is nowhere near close to his feet. No way this is in the final version, right? Like, this is just the release version, surely? Even then, it's unacceptable. I shouldn't have to immediately patch a physical copy of a game just to get the full experience, especially on the Switch, what with its extremely limited storage space. But anyway, the cutscene's not quite done. Both Arven and I pop into existence again, and I think Arven approaches from a sheer cliff face, like where he came from, that's just a drop-off. Then apparently he starts to examine the Titan, even though he's looking the wrong way. And no, that ain't just a bad camera angle. It rotates to show we're both looking in the complete wrong direction. Bombardier finally swings around like Zamazenta and Sword and Shield, making its way back down to the battle arena. Bear Grylls then pops into existence. You got me on that one. Then Bombardier glows with the power of the Majoram Wundaria with a delightful PNG that gets cut off at the bottom. And finally, it's time to fight the Titan. Again. What the fuck? This is some sort of animation nightmare. Who directed the cutscenes here? Bombardier himself? I knew something was immediately off when playing this, and then again once I forgot about it and was editing it. It's not like I went through each and every cutscene in the game frame by frame to try and leech out each and every inconsistency and mistake at him. I didn't even have anything about this damn cutscene in my notes. I just kind of noticed the characters and animations were acting all funky, and then while editing, once you start noticing these things, you can't stop. They just keep coming. You're a failure as a video game company if your product ends up looking like this. I've seen better animations from 13-year-olds practicing Source Filmmaker in their spare time. Like, you gotta be kidding me. Sword and Shield sells 26 million copies, and you're telling me the best you got is this? This isn't just me making fun of the games anymore. This is inexcusable. Even when the camera focuses on Arven mid-battle, big-ass black borders to make it epic as shit, he still clips into his animations. I can't wrap my head around this highest grossing media franchise in the world. What is life? And you know what? when a freaking Pokemon game is giving you an existential crisis, you gotta step back, you gotta take a breath, and do something else for a while. I don't know, big girls. What do you do to make yourself feel better? I drink my own piss. But that's my apple juice. Well, round two ahoy, and... well, guess that's that. I was thinking if Arvin didn't heal my Pokemon, we wouldn't stand much of a chance. Is it just gonna keep going with Arvin? He beat it by himself. You defeated the Titan Bombardier. Did I? Look, guys, I know I said Pokemon was easy now, but this just takes the cake. I literally didn't have to play. Arvin's a Chad. He just blitzed on through it. My goodness. Yes! Way to go, Mr. Soderbergh! I don't even know how to respond to that. Okay, I'm gonna try and stop mentioning the cutscene animations in quite so much detail. I'll try to be more brief, even though I feel each and every mistake deserves its own section. You know, let's hold these guys to the same standard as everybody else. You freaky ass thumbs won't escape from me, Arvin. Anyway, with the Titan dead and my brain thoroughly gooshed, Arvin and I make our way inside the cavern Bombardier opened up. Watch your step, it's pretty dark. No, Arvin, see, it being dark would mean the game would have some sort of lighting system. Speak of the devil, holy crap, a light source! It's so bright it got rid of Arvin's shadow! Yeah, anyway, this is the Bitter Herba Mystica. It must be a typo. Either way, Arvin grabs the plant and makes a delicious sandwich out of it. By beating the crap out of it, I can only imagine. And there you have it! Arvin gives us a badge for our efforts. Apparently he made it himself by replicating the gym badge style. Not that I would know what they look like. He could be lying through his teeth for all I know. And we have time, I guess, to set up a timed picture of the sandwich, which is emanating some sort of fart or a... Come to think of it, I suppose I could have just got one of my Pokemon to take the picture. I'm literally right here! I have fingers! Koraidon pops out to say hi and once again takes my damn sandwich. I'm a big old softy though, and I hand it over with about as much resistance as a chocolate frog. I don't know what that joke is. I don't get it. It's been a long time since I made the script. And zip zap zop, Koraidon can swim now. Something ominous about this image here. He's not looking at any of the characters here. He's looking at you. Directly at the camera. Arvin waves goodbye and we're all done here, but the camera lingers. Ooh, and it seems he's talking to somebody. Somebody who lives in a Pokeball, judging by the sound effects. So, Pokemon. The sort of crazy mystery surrounding Arvin and his Pokemon pal will unfold? Only time will tell, when we eventually get to it, I guess. Outside the cave, we get a call from Professor Sada, who tells us that Koraidon can now swim through the water. She says she detects that Koraidon has regained some of its power, but I don't believe that for a second. She's got that Rotom in my phone acting as a double agent. It's a terrible line. Then again, Arvin didn't actually mention that Koraidon could now swim, and the only reason I know about it is because of the text box. I just realized that probably would have made a lot of sense for Koraidon's form to physically, evolve as it ate the magic sandwiches. Maybe for the swimming power, its toes would have become webbed, or it would have gained some fins or something. It have probably made a lot more sense if the game didn't tell us how he had changed until the professor gave us a call. Because how on earth can you tell he's changed at all, other than, the bright light? What's the difference? Does Koraidon have a wee chat with us coming out of the cave? I don't know why I'm so hung up on this. A slight inconsistency in this game is like finding a grape in a bowl of grapes. Moving on, sorry. Good idea to put a big pool of water right outside the Sky Titan's den so you can immediately try out the swimming. Oh, hello there. Swimming's nothing too special. You can move around and jump, and that's it. It's same as your ground movement, basically. I was kind of hoping for diveable areas, but nothing of that sort here, I'm afraid. Game Freak also forgot to add in a transitory animation in between swimming and not swimming, so Koraidon will just snap into place if you let go of the analog stick. Always a pleasure. Moving onwards, I found this neat Pokeball that refused to be picked up. You have no idea how frustrating this is. I can only remember how angry I got. I mounted, unmounted, didn't matter. I couldn't touch it. Only when I finally tried sending out a Pokemon did it get picked up. And that's also where I learned that Pokemon could pick up items for you. I guess the ground here was at an angle that such my character was technically not touching the ball. I don't know what happened here. I stumbled across the evolution of Nimble here. Low kicks? Lockix? Whoa! Low poly pooch alert. Okay, so this is the point in the video where I was going to talk about the low poly models and, how they work in the Pokemon Scarlet and Violet game and the fact that they are pretty obvious sometimes and oftentimes they'll stay a little bit longer than they should be, making it pretty obvious when they pop into their high poly self.
But I was getting footage for this section on a later update, not the most recent one, but the one of the teal mask, I think it is. But I kind of started to think to myself, why am I complaining so much about the polygon models, which are kind of charming in their own way, when there's a much bigger issue that the Pokemon are just popping up 5 feet in front of my face. I feel like they're popping in even closer now than they were before, and not only that, but apparently in an effort to curb the bugs related to performance issues, in one of the updates, they just slashed the spawn rate straight down the middle. Wild outbreaks, more like wild nothing breaks. There's nothing there. It's so hard to find a decent amount of Pokemon on screen because they just can't spawn. And meanwhile, while this is all going on, the landscape is blipping in and out of existence every 5 seconds. I can't believe that it's still supposed to be a finished product. Like, I just had to get this in. I had to rant at least a little bit. Like, the low poly models, who cares? Look at this. This is gross.
Goodness gracious, that is a deep, dark ocean. Anyway, back to low kicks. As I said before, this is the favorite of many people out there. Its design seems to be inspired by Kamen Rider, which are definitely 2 words I read from Bulbapedia. I'm not familiar with the source material, ergo I can't really appreciate what this Pokemon is going for, so it doesn't really interest me. Still didn't get a spot on the team, sorry. Heading back towards the quest marker, yeah, remember him? Feel old yet, internet? I came across another new Pokemon, Charcadet. It was all by itself and looked like the Game Freak definition of rare, so I immediately battled it. Then ran away when I realized what level it was. I let it go for now, but in the back of my mind I was hoping it wasn't super rare, which it isn't. If anything, getting the evolution is a bigger pain in the ass, but Charcadet spawns in a few different places. And as far as the design goes, for our Pokemon evaluation, it gave me Riolu vibes, like it was going to evolve into a powerful, popular Pokemon. I was super right in that regard. Its 2 evolutions are very popular and powerful, both making their way into the OU tier for Smogon battling. If you don't know what that is, don't worry about it, just know that they're popular. But as a Pokemon itself, I'm not really feeling it. It's like a little man with a little flame on its head. This is one of those Pokemon nobody really cares about because its evolutions are where all the effort went, and yeah, I can see that here. Almost all the way back to... I've already forgotten its name. I cannot remember any of the town names in this game. Picnic time. That's right, baby. It's finally time to make a sandwich of our very own. I swear I put the bread around here somewhere. Don't forget to pick the freshest ingredients for your sandwich around. 4 onions, 2 apples, some yogurt, and a crap load of pepper. It's the Soderbergh family recipe. Firstly, crash your yogurt and pepper together in an explosion of spice and glass. Place a layer of onion, then apple, then onion again. Place some more apple on top of that last layer of onion, then on top of that, slap some more onion on that bad boy. Polish it off with 1 final slice of apple, then place the other half of the bread on top. For optimal structural integrity. And there you have it, folks. The Soderbergh Pepper Yogurt Onion Apple Sandwich. A smash hit at every gathering, party, or whatever the hell you have going on. Eat it on the toilet as it drips onto your toes. Oh my god, I forgot about the horrendous eating animation. Huh? 3 stars? Who's reviewing these? Yeah, go get him, Violet Demon, go get him! Man, Wiggler sucks balls. It's finally time for another RadicalSoda rant, everybody. Today's topic being following Pokemon. Woo, that's right. If you're at least a little bit knowledgeable about Pokemon's video game history, you'll know Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver, the Gen 4 remakes of Gold and Silver, which recently I tried, and honestly, can't say the main story's spectacular. Very, very slow. Weird levels on things. Anyway, they introduced a fan favorite mechanic where your Pokemon could follow you around. It helped to make your Pokemon feel just a little bit closer to you, help forge a stronger bond. This fan favorite feature would be instantly forgotten in Generation 5 because Game Freak doesn't want us to have nice things. And it wasn't until Generation 7, Sun and Moon, until we finally found the animation files hidden away in the back-end alley of the game cartridge showing running and walking animations for all Pokemon. But Sun and Moon, of course, as you probably know, ran so poorly you couldn't even use the 3D function of the 3DS while playing, so having an extra model, I guess, follow you around in the overworld was out of the question. But surely Sword and Shield would bring back this feature for all of us to enjoy? Well, no, it didn't, but then a couple of months later, you could pay real money for a bit of DLC, which honestly should have been in the base game to allow your Pokemon to follow you. Hey, it's better than nothing, right? No, not really. So surely, Legends Arceus, this open world-ish Pokemon game would allow you to have following Pokemon. They don't even move. They They can't even walk. So surely the remakes of Gen 4 Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl would fix this feature up, even though the modders had already fixed the issue regarding Sword and Shield's Pokemon speed like in a day. But hey, this is Game Freak we're talking about. They don't patch shit, so Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl was for sure a slam dunk. After all, this was the following Pokemon generation, and what with the shitty 3D 1-to-1 replica of the original game's overworld, it could easily function exactly the same as Hard Gold and Soul Silvers. It's like they're trying to make me cry here. But then, the light in the tunnel, Scarlet and Violet trailers showing proof that your Pokemon could follow you around in the overworld, and not just that, they could keep up. Hi, Future Red here. I don't know what I was thinking. They're definitely not keeping up there. Finally, after all this time, real following Pokemon again. You gotta be shitting in my ass. It just doesn't work. It's been 15 years, and you're telling me you can't do better than this? In my eyes, this is the equivalent of Game Freak getting you that puppy you wanted for Christmas, but it's got no eyes or legs. But you said you wanted it. I feel sorry for it. Not only that, but the trailers promised Pokemon could keep up with you, even outpace you. Where are they? Well, they're here, somewhere. You just gotta pick the right Pokemon, I guess. But even with that being said, fast Pokemon still have the issue of stopping and starting over and over again. It just looks stupid. Do I have to go on to reiterate the previous point? I've already talked about this in Sword and Shield at least a little bit. I don't think I do have to go on. You can put 2 and 2 together. I believe in you. Anyway, I figured if I was strong enough to beat a Titan, or at least watch Arvin beat a Titan, I was strong enough to tackle the first gym, so off I went. Unfortunately, the gym itself didn't really have any special theming going on, you know what I mean? Like in generations 1 to 8, not really counting Gen 7, each gym had its own unique building and theming. Gen 5 and 6, I feel, had the best of them. It's funny how that happens, the more recent entries have the best themes, well, not counting Gen 8. If you remember, you've got Berg's gym from Black and White 2, Drayden or Iris's gym with the big old dragons, and then you got the gyms in Gen 6 like... I can't remember any of their names other than Viola's, but the gyms were all funky as balls. They all had their own special, unique idea. The spider webs, the super galaxy stuff, even the ice spinning at the very horrible last gym. Even that was neat to see. Sword and Shield did have themes too, but they were really weird. Like the ghost/fighting gym shared a pinball theme for some reason, and everybody remembers Spikemouth, where Gym Town and Hallway had a threesome and the baby popped out looking like this. I found with Sword and Shield, the visual splendor just wasn't there. Like the Fairy and Dragon gym challenges just take place in a single room, and the others mostly take place in the stadiums. They were okay, they're just not interesting. I was never wowed by any of these. So, what did Scarlet and Violet do? Well, they took the gyms away pretty much completely. Now every single gym is this building. Every single one. Each gym has its own challenge that we'll get to, but they never really reach the quality of any of the previous gyms, except Spikemouth that reaches that one pretty easily. Again, this feels like another internal issue with Game Freak, like they didn't have the time because they were rushing the game out the door, or maybe they actually tried making a proper area, but the game chugged harder than Bear Grylls drinking piss. You see, I put a little umbrella in it this time. Even still, the explanation of the game chugging stupendously with the gym theming would only make sense if the gym challenges were all done outside. There was still plenty of space in the cartridge to add the 8 indoor gym areas. If the game had included that, it would have made, like, how many unique indoor rooms in the game? What, like 4? Just another batch of missed potential. I really hope one day Game Freak gets a new CEO or director or whoever's doing the decision making around there that really cares about the quality of the product they're shoving out the door, but it's very rare and, in fact, unobtainable for anybody to reach that place without prioritizing money above all else, so I'm not holding my breath. Well, we're rolling olives apparently, so I went over to the specified location. Shouldn't this sort of stuff be like set into the environment like the buildings so they don't pop in so egregiously? Like the fence never goes away at any point, I think, so why have it be a separate object which completely rips away your immersion each time it loads in? Like every other object in the game. Yeah, I guess it wouldn't help too much. This is just how it is, I guess. Just pretend it happens in real life and you'll be grand! So the gym challenge here is to roll this giant inflatable olive to the finish line in baby's first maze here. And you can tell the game is struggling to handle a single physics object from the slowdown alone. Holy crap! What with the huge emphasis on olives and smolives, you would have thought that the gym leader here would have been a grass type. But no! In fact, the gym is bug type, and the only thing adhering to that theme is the spider web fences. Well, that and the gym trainers. Cricketoon makes an appearance here, but unfortunately for him, he doesn't get an evolution in this game. Like, who needs an evolution the most at this point in Pokemon? Kricketune, Ladian definitely, Sunflora. That'd be a great idea for Pokemon's first grass fire type, maybe. There definitely won't be a Pokemon that steals that slot. Oh, gee, I just feel terrible. You can't have me going around making people cry, Jesus. You know, forget what I said, she's fine. Made my way through the gym challenge, pretty much no problem. Hopefully you'd expect at least that much from me. And at the time I felt like there was some physics shenanigans that could be done with the big-ass olive, and it turns out there absolutely is. I just didn't figure them out at that particular point in time. It turns out you can leap inside the olive and fly to the moon, something I did much later on. I don't think I have the footage of it though, so you'll have to make do with somebody else's. Is it here? Is the footage there? Did you get the footage, me? I'm so sorry. And there you have it, folks. There you go. Maybe I have to go back to the start. Actually, there's no way that's what's needed to... What's going on here? Oh, superb hitbox right there. About on par with the wild Pokemon. Except in that case, they're far too large rather than far too small. Now that we've completed that, we've earned the right to challenge Katie, the gym leader. Katie, of course, being a play on the word katydid, which is indeed a bug trigger warning. And also, it's a name, of course, Katie, so I suppose it's possible Game Freak just drew a name out of a hat and this is all just a big coincidence. Is someone peeing in my left ear? Katie has a lovely little design for a gym leader. She's a baker by trade, because either being a gym leader doesn't pay all that well, which would be a little silly, seeing as a huge part of the Paldea region's culture is Pokemon battling, kind of the same as in Sword and Shield, although there it was more of a sport, whereas here it feels more like an academic sort of extracurriculum activity. What with the whole uniformity of the gym buildings and champion rank, that many people can earn as opposed to like a single regional champion. Oh yeah, and the other reason she might be a baker is because she just enjoys it, and that would be the preferred outcome, because even fake Pokemon trainers should be getting a livable wage. I also like the design because she's just kind of cute. Cortondo, that's the name of the town! Katie's team is Nimble. Great! Tarantula. Great! And Teddiursa. Huh? Personally, I would have had her team be based around baked goods, like you've got Milcery or Alcremie, Swirlix or Slurpuff. Then, of course, you've got Fido, my lord. You literally have a baked goods Pokemon introduced in this very generation, and you go with Teddiursa instead. I get it. I know what you're going to say. Bugbear. It's a bugbear, thanks to the terrestrialization effect, but come on. Like, this could have been a great generation to start us off with themed teams. And without spoiling anything, I don't know why. The game's been out for over a year at this point. Most important trainers have a great theme and design. We're creating a non-type themed team, again, such as food themed Pokemon, would be incredibly easy. And not to say that there wouldn't be teams leaning towards one specific typing. For example, let's say our gym leader's a wrestler. His team could still lean hard on fighting type Pokemon like Hariyama, Throh, or Machamp, maybe Holucha, but you could also throw in a Pokemon like Incineroar. Or you could have a florist with flowery Pokemon, and obviously Roselia or Blossom would fit in there, but you could also include Comfey or one of the Flabebe lines. Like, man, the possibilities! Like, there's only so many ways you can make a certain kind of gym leader, and I think Katie here is proof of that, seeing as her whole baking theme doesn't really have anything to do with bugs. Heck, I would have taken a Combi slapped in there for the honey it provides, at least. Katie's Pokemon don't provide much of a challenge thanks to the lack of held items and having only 2 moves each. They're all attacking moves though, which makes things a little more difficult. You can't rely on the Pokemon not doing any damage on a turn unless she uses a potion. I don't know why they didn't give them any status moves. It could have something to do with the AI. Maybe it just really likes to spam status moves if it has them. And then again, it's Game Freak's AI. I'm sure they could customize it per battle to suit their needs. That is, of course, if they either know how to do that or if they had the time to do that. Either way, it's not uncommon for early battles to only have 2 moves on a Pokemon. Gladion and Sun and Moon looking real stupid with his Tackle Pursuit combo he's got going on. And this is at level 18, man. There's no excuse there. Anyway, I tried keeping the game as close as I could to a self-imposed set mode. It sucks that I have to manually do that, but whatever. Me being vastly overleveled here means it's not exactly a fair fight anyway. Teddiursa gets his hat, bug type of course, doesn't exactly help Katie out. More like makes her Teddiursa a bigger target if you're actually prepared for the gym. And then the crowd goes wild. There's like 10 people here. What are you doing this for? Back in Black and White, when the gym leader sent out their final Pokemon, the music would shift, almost as if directly saying, "Here's the last one, keep going, you're almost there." And then Sword and Shield had a similar system, except the music started up alongside the Dynamaxing, and the music would shift into this annoying song where the crowd would sing along. Scarlet and Violet does this too, but why? I don't get it. It doesn't really make sense here. There's barely any people around. Sword and Shield had bloody stadiums filled with people cheering on the battle, but here in Paldea, it's more like they got a rip-off version of Galar's music and just put it on a boombox next to the arena. The terrestrialization system is also just, I don't know, it's not as epic as the Dynamax gimmick. They're just wearing hats, man. Like, I prefer terrestrialization gameplay-wise, but Dynamax had more spectacle. At least it was worthy of a chanting crowd. The regular gym music, however, which of course plays before the hat music, is... I don't know. Like, I like the idea behind the music, but I don't know if it really fits that of a gym battle. Like, it worked for a different sort of trainer, but for the gym... I've heard a few remixes or covers or whatever you want to call it of this theme, and they managed to spice it up a bit and make it a bit more, I don't know, boss-ish. Like, you're not just fighting Funky Steve the Electrician on the walk home from the ice cream parlor. It'd work great for Funky Steve the Electrician. So overall, I'm not saying the music is bad. Well, I mean, I hate the chanting part. I just think it'd work better elsewhere. Not harping on the track itself per se, although I do find it repetitive, so I guess there's a little harping there, but I've always said Game Freak does two things excellently: character design, whether that be for the people or the Pokemon, and the music. Unfortunately for this specific piece of music, it just doesn't quite get there compared to its older siblings. I had to listen to them all just to, make sure, and Jesus Christ, had a bit of whiplash re-listening to the start of X and Y. It sounds like the gym leader steadily approaching with a knife in hand. They didn't have to go that dark with the theme there, but it works. It really does make you feel like it's going to be a tough battle up ahead, even if the X and Y leaders end up being some of the easiest in the series. And let's not forget the Kahuna theme from Sun and Moon. We got any fellow Kahuna theme enjoyers in the audience today? One of my favorite tracks of all time, and that's from Sun and Moon, for crying out loud. That's just like two great boss tracks from previous games. There's a ton more. Hey, let me know your favorite gym theme in the comments below to help the video perform better. I mean, because I genuinely want to know. I've got a suspicion that the Gen 4 and Gen 5 themes are going to get tossed around a bit. Those are great too.
Well, looks like the drought's finally being lifted. A Titan and a gym all in one video. Oh, you spoil us, RadicalSoda, you sneaky devil, you. Now, while you kind folks write down what gym theme's the best in the comment section down below, I'll be wondering if the next episode has more great guys, gals, Pokemon, maybe even something that hasn't been mentioned yet. Could Game Freak have snuck in a funny sound effect like this? I doubt it, but come on back next time, why don't you?